everybody.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
What a great day it was.
Yes. And welcome back from part 2 of it's part 2 of values in our Kick-Ass 2020. And it's how to get aligned with values and then also find out what is creating self-sabotage, because values are the key. Values, when you unpack and unwrap and find what's underneath values and why these things are important to us, we find out so much about ourselves, our behavior, how we're motivated, how we're demotivated, why we have these ups and downs, and we get super motivated and we're super on track, and then all of a sudden we lose sail in our wind in our sail.
That's why some people are motivated toward money and why some people just aren't really interested in it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's motivated by different things, which is what makes us so great. And so by understanding values and deep rooted core values by people, that allows us to help figure out how to motivate individuals, or find something else that does motivate them.
And they're also tied to our boundaries. It's how we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, is how we know right from wrong, is how we judge and discern information. If we know that this is a boundary for us, this is why people leave relationships, because there was a values conflict. This is why people leave a job that maybe
Absolutely.
They worked for 15 years and it was totally aligned, but then they have a personal growth moment, or maybe the company changes and then the values aren't aligned anymore and they will leave. And it's very important to know this about your own personal values and understand other people, especially if you run an organization.
Absolutely.
People will leave if they are not bought into your values.
Yep.
So
values are extremely important. That's why we've been working on them this whole last 2 weeks, really, to set up our 2020 goals.
Yes.
Is because we know how important values are in our relationship, in our business. We're going to be doing values alignment with Hannah.
We have team values for our company.
Values. And so it's extremely important to grow. If you're trying to grow and scale your company and your business, these are all extremely useful tools, and they're very simple.
Yeah, so
often overlooked.
Values is the compass, and it also is the wind to the sail when it comes to creating your goals. So if you're not getting your goals, if you didn't get your goals 2019, there could be a values issue. There could be some unconscious values, or there could be some unconscious away froms or debris or incongruency within the values.
Something clogging the pipe.
Yes. Because you will get very inconsistent results if you're not totally aligned with your goals and your values. If your goals are different than what your core values are, you will not get your goals.
Most definitely, if you run a sales team, you manage salespeople, you're coaching salespeople, you want to know what motivates your salespeople, and your values are going to help you uncover that. So
you can't say it enough. So
without further ado.
So again, before we talked about it, it's like, how do you elicit your values? And we talked about that last Friday. And it's simple. Values are what's important to people. So you can ask casually in a sales conversation, what's important to you about, let's say they were in a discovery call to hire you on as a consultant or a coach. So what's important to you about hiring a coach?
What's important to you about the insurance, protecting your business, insuring your car? I mean, you get values out of everything someone does. What's important to you about a home?
Yeah.
What's important to you about buying the right home?
Or if you're in the dating world and you're going on dates, you can talk to the person, of course, get to know them and build some rapport.
That'd be useful.
And it's a very great conversation starter. What's important to you in the context of life?
What's important to you about the right guy?
Yeah.
Dating the right man. What specifically?
Yeah, because here's the thing, knowing their life values, what's important to you about living is their life values. Those are going to be the key indicators that person is going to be a good fit. Then what's important to you in the context of a relationship?
Yep.
If you build enough rapport and you're able to ask that. We just did our relationship values and our sex values and our intimacy values. There are criteria and specific things for each of those values that are important to both of us.
And it's highly valued criteria depending on who the person is.
Yes.
My criteria is different than Deb's. And so the more you get aligned.
Yes. Then you can fulfill those for your partner and you feel aligned, you feel congruent.
You become totally aligned.
And you can communicate.
Easily.
Yes. And you get along and you feel like all your needs are met. You also feel seen, heard, and safe.
Yep.
So All you got to do is ask yourself in the 6 areas of life, finances or career, your business, it could be this, however you label it, what's important to you about that? What else? Get out the criteria so you have all those words. You could do it in spirituality. You could do it in personal growth and development. You could do it in relationship, like we said, sex.
Health and wellness.
Those are all different areas of life.
Family, relationships, because family is different than relationships.
Yeah.
And then within relationships, you have
sexual relationships,
sex values, and then other values.
We also have friendship relationships.
You have friendship values.
So what's important to you in the context of friendship? Friends. What else? And literally dump out your bucket, meaning journal everything down that you can think about until you literally don't have anything else to put back out.
When there's conflict in a relationship and it's just like oil and water over stupid stuff, right? And this happens all the time. I know anyone can relate. And when a spouse or a couple partnership, they're not getting along, or they're just like at each other, there's a value out of place. There's something that's not being met, and it's totally unconscious.
Totally.
And if we get conscious of these values, it's amazing how you can get back on the same page. So many relationships can be saved, or that can be repaired if they just got on the same page with values and learned how to communicate each other's values.
Values is so cool because it allows you to really unpack people's language.
Yep.
So when you dump out your bucket of literally verbally vomit everything that's important to you in that area of life, and you write it all down, then you want to then wait a second. Hey, Karina. Hey, Brian. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Tess. It's good to see you. Let us know if you're following us. So you write down everything that comes up and then allow the bucket to refill, because usually you'll have this like gap or you don't have anything else. And then if you wait about 2 minutes, then it will fill back up. And then you ask yourself, what else is important to you in the context of relationship? Or if you're doing money values, what else is important to you in the context of money? And
values could just be exactly that. They could be values. They could be one word values. They could be a couple phrases. Typically it's like as big a picture, like money is a value, love, right? Discipline is a value.
Yeah.
All of those types of words are values.
So whenever you have that list, then you stand back and look at the list as quickly as you can. And you want to do this in an unconscious process. So don't think about it. You just go and pick. So you look at your list. Let's say that this is your list.
Just number it.
And you number it from most important to least important as quickly as you can. Just write it down like 1, 2, maybe it's safety.
Priority
3,
from 1 to 5, 1 to 10,
money,
whatever.
Yeah. And then when you have the list, then you put it in order. So that is your hierarchy. And so the top, like we said last time, the top 6 values are going to be what super motivates you. Mm-hmm. You're going to get the most motivation out of those values.
And it is consciously obvious.
Yes.
It is very obvious when you motivate someone by feeding back their values in a phrase or a sentence, or in a project that we're going to work on together, or anything. If we were to hire a person like this that had this, this, and this, would you want this job? And then I will take the bottom part of their values. If we were to hire and work with another person, totally different person, and we were to work with a person that had this, this, and this values, it won't even feel like there's no movement. It'll feel stagnant. It'll just be like, yeah, that doesn't even interest me.
You can even test it with yourself, looking at those top values. Do you feel motivated? Do you feel movement? Do you feel drive to go out? Go out and do something about it.
Right.
If you don't, then you may have it in the wrong order. Okay, and so now what do we do how do we know about what is the way from or is the self-sabotage within values? Because again, we talked about the last time that some of these values may be very important on the hierarchy because they have limiting beliefs or away froms.
So we smoke all those out by asking, why is, for an example, discipline? Why is discipline important to you in the context of relationship or in the context of business or whatever context you're working in? And then they'll dump out why it is.
Why else? Why else? Why else? Why else?
And that language, all that content, it gives you information. It gives you knowledge inside the client's mind as far as where they are based on what they're saying.
So basically,
the words say everything.
Exactly. So ask yourself, when you have those lists that you're looking at of all those things that are why, let's say discipline is important to you. Let's say one of the examples is because when I have discipline, then I get stuff done in the right amount of time and I feel better. Well, that's pretty towards. But if you have something, because discipline is something that has always been hard for me. In fact, I hate discipline, and
because I have to do it.
Because I have to do
or
it.
I need to.
Or in the past, discipline, like I would have it for a while and then it would fall off the wagon. Those, by the way, my friend, are all limiting beliefs. And those could be self-sabotaging behaviors that those beliefs are creating. They can even be parts.
It can be smoke. We smoke out a lot of typically money blocking beliefs around that.
Yeah.
If it's in the context of business or sales or career.
Yeah.
Or work.
Okay. So for money, a lot of people, when you unpack the value of money, it may be very important to somebody in the context of their business, which it probably should be, because if you're not making the money that you want to make, you want to have profit high on your values, because that's going to be most motivating in your company.
Most people are so incongruent about money because they think that you can't service and help someone and get paid. And so they don't want to ask for money, but they've got to over service. And then there's this boundary they keep crossing, and they wonder why they're always struggling, because it's this constant push and pull.
So let's say that you're doing this process, smoking out the away froms and finding the self-sabotage in the word money. So what would you say? You say, why is money important to me?
Why is money important to you?
And then you just dump out your bucket.
Why gives you some content. Normally, with our philosophy of teaching, we like to know the what and the how process. How gives us process. What gives us, a little bit more specific about how. Why, we typically don't ask a lot of why questions. We do
in values,
in the context of values,
because we want to get a lot of content,
because we want to know content, because we want to listen for the language. We want to listen based on language. If someone's going towards something or totally moving away from something they don't, right? Like in the context of money, if you think about money, it's like, well, I want to make money because I got to get out of debt, right? I want to earn more income, or I want to charge more for my services because I've got to pay off my debt.
So basically, it's
I gotta
away
put food
from
on the table. That's all very away from language.
You know that it's an away from if you are focusing on what you don't want. It's that simple. If you are focusing on pain, if scarcity mindset is away from, if you're focusing on a terrible, significant emotional event, if you're focusing on past trauma, negative emotions, anything that limits you from creating what you want is away from, because that's a limiting belief. Anything that's preventing you. So in the context of money,
that's what controls our bank account.
Yeah, it does.
That's what will control our bank accounts, is purely by what we focus on, we get. We get more of it, we attract it faster. And if there's things that we do not want to manifest, but we continue to hold that thought in our mind, specific thoughts about debt, about putting food on the table, or the lack thereof, right? The scarcity mindset, we will manifest it that much quicker. And then we wonder why we keep getting the same thing.
It's the law of attraction. You get what you focus on, and so these things are already inside of the values, and they control the values. And so it controls your motivation. And so that's why you see people making a ton of money, or they'll be super successful. Money will start rolling in. They'll have clients coming in. They'll feel super prosperous, but then something will happen. Either they'll lose motivation, because that's a key indicator of away from in their value of money, or they will have some sort of significant emotional event or something attract in their life to take the money away, because you're
attract to drama,
yes,
or a divorce, or an illness,
delete everything,
disease,
yes,
whatever, some kind of an accident or something to distract them, because they almost got on the path. Which is why personal growth and development, when it's consistently done, helps us focus on the right things.
Yep.
Done over time, shifts our mindset to create massive, massive wealth.
So with money, then you would want to ask yourself, why else? Why else? Why else is this important to me? And then dump out your bucket, get all those things out. And then you look at it from a discerning point of view. Okay, so what is a prosperity type of mindset based upon my language? What pictures, sounds, feelings, taste, smells, self-talk am I holding on in my mind? What movie am I playing for myself? Is it setting me up for success, or is it setting me up for failure? Because whenever you're focused on what you don't want, your body is listening, and it will create behavior that will create more of that.
It's always listening.
Yes.
Listen. It's always listening.
Yes.
It's unconscious.
Exactly.
It always listens. Your body always responds.
So the cool thing is that once you get that list out of why that's important to you, and you clearly see that you have some away froms and you clearly have some limiting beliefs there, the good news is that you can let that shit go.
Your mind,
you can let that go. It's
your
easy
mind
to let it go.
tells your body what to do, and your body tells your mind what to do. So
Those
if we're anxious, if we're anxious about debt, if we're anxious about all these things we don't want, guess what we're going to get more of? All of those things. And it's so interesting about money and the clients that we help that instantly let go of some things back in their past, way back in the past. They instantly create success, massive wealth. Sales and money just start to pour in their life. It's literally a button you can touch, and that you can turn it on like a faucet, you can turn it off. That's how money is. It flows in and out. And when we block and we dam that flow, it's absolutely amazing how we can stop it and stop all money from pouring into our life.
I'm glad you said that, because values, incongruent values like money, if it has away froms in it, it is damming the flow of finances.
Yep.
It's blocking energetically, physically, motivationally, behaviorally, is blocking your financial abundance.
Most definitely, it always comes out and pours out in behavior. Because here's the thing. You can't ask a client to do something or coach them, advise them, consult them if you're not doing it yourself.
Yeah.
That's just a projection as far as how we look at the flow of money and how things flow in and out of our life. If we're not constantly investing in ourselves.
It's out of an integrity.
Yeah.
It's the universal cause and effect equation. You will not attract what you do not act.
And if we go out and say, well, we want clients to invest in themselves and their businesses, because the right mindset goes out and creates more of this. By the way, with what we actually promote, everybody needs it. They just don't know it yet. That's what's great about it. And the ones that need it the most come after it, go get it.
Not everybody wants it.
Not everybody wants it, but everybody needs it.
Yeah.
If they wanted to make more, do more, have more, love more.
Yeah.
Happy more.
Maybe they have their own philosophy that works the same. There's many other ways of doing the same.
But the best thing is we don't take everyone.
Yes.
We only work with the clients who want it.
Yes.
Right. And so when you look at the clients who really want it and then they go create success, well, of course they did, because flow is in their way. Flow is going their way. Values are aligned, right?
Yes.
I mean, everything is going their way. And the best part about what we do is we actually teach people how to let go of the stuff that gets in the way.
That's what I said. So the cool news is all those life sabotaging behaviors and all those away froms and those past experiences and those limiting beliefs, you can let them go very easily and very, very quickly with timeline therapy. It's very, very fast, and you can install a new behavior and you can get aligned with your values. And it's like a 10x, it's probably 100x. Once you have everything totally aligned in your relationships with your values, your belief systems, and your goals, you will manifest like that. And you take action, of course. Of the law of attraction, you must take action.
You must take action.
Yes.
Focused action.
What else could it look like? I want to give a couple more examples before we jump off. So what else could it look like in the context of relationship? Let's say that value of communication is super important to you. And it could be very high on the hierarchy. Just because it's high in the hierarchy, meaning like in number 1 or 2, doesn't mean that it doesn't have away froms. In fact, sometimes that means it has more away froms, because that's super important to you because you feel like you're not getting it met.
Yep.
So for an example that I talked about last episode,
making money,
we were talking about
freedom.
Well, in this context of business, money be super important to people because they're really, really broke. And so they have all these limiting beliefs about money.
Because they need money. They have to pay their bills.
And that's why it's so important to them. We also seen people that don't even have it on the hierarchy because it's not important to them at all. Unconsciously, it really is.
And they're also broke.
Yes, and they're incongruent and they're broke. So that could be something. And then in relationships, for an example, when I first got in our relationship, respect was very high in the hierarchy because in the past, I had chosen to be in relationships where I was disrespectful unconsciously, and they were very disrespectful as well. And I was consciously aware of their disrespect.
It was just your projection.
And so it was just my projection. And so I brought that projection into our relationship. And so when I did values with him for the very first time, respect was number 1 on my hierarchy. Not even love or anything, is respect.
Huh?
He's like, what? It didn't make any sense to him because he already knew it was a given to have respect in a relationship.
You don't respect me?
So now communication is very high on our hierarchy, and instead of respect, because I let go of my past experiences of not being respected. Now it's not so important to me because I know it's a given in the relationship. though communication is very high in our hierarchy. And there was some away from motivation this last time that we checked in with each other, because there was some communication that was going back and forth between us that wasn't very kind and loving in certain circumstances. And so we checked that and we let go of the negative emotions around it. We also let go of the patterns and behaviors that was creating that.
Beliefs.
And it's still high on the hierarchy. It's just congruent. So
Yes.
we feel like we're both being seen, we're both being heard, and we're both supported by each other.
There's an understanding.
Yeah. So whenever you're having an argument with people, the best thing to do is go to values. What's important to you about this relationship? What's important to you about what we're doing together?
And when you choose to learn language and learn it easily, you can use this conversationally. It's very easy to ask what someone's values are. You could be on the phone with them and you could just be taking notes. And you just ask it once. Well, what else is important to you about that? What else is important to you about that?
What else?
What else? It's like, I'm really curious. I'm just like a sponge soaking all this up. I'd love to know more. Tell me more. What else is important to you?
Because those are all the key words you're going to use to present your packages and your informations, because that's how they motivate themselves unconsciously.
Remember, good information is information.
Yep.
Bad information is information. It's all data.
It's all information.
The more data, the more information you have about a client or a prospect, the better you can serve them, the better you can understand how they are thinking about money, right? Are they toward it? Are they negative with it? Are they frivolous with it? Like, what do they do with their money? If, in the context of business and sales, you can actually serve a client better, and they'll actually come to you and say, you know what? No one's really actually been able to help me answer the questions as well as you did.
Totally.
Like, you did such a great job of actually servicing me and taking care of me, because that's what they don't realize is it's all in the language they speak. And so just feed that back to them, but it's very specific language.
So the task for tonight is to then list your values, put them in order, and then find out the away froms for each value. So you have, let's say, a list of 10 values in one area of life, let's say career or your business. Then ask yourself for each value, starting with number 1 and going all the way to number 10. Why is number 1 important to you? Why else? Why else? Why else? Why else? Dump it out about 4 to 5 times, and then ask yourself, are these towards and what are the away froms? And do it for each value. And that is going to give you a key indicator of some of the self-sabotaging behaviors and the limiting beliefs and blocks that are holding you back from being totally congruent with your values, which then we're going to connect that to your goals and how you create your goals on the next episode. Because your values are tied into your goals, and it's what's going to support your goals to make them happen in 2020. And you need to know this data. So be truthful with yourself. Don't censor it. Just let it all out, because the first step is discovery. A lot of times the shit just disappears just by becoming aware of it. Then sometimes you may need to, connect with us. If you need some extra help, then we can help you through that to help you let that go.
Yep. We should definitely put like a link for couples if they're going to do their own. Yeah. That we can give them some more information.
Totally.
About that.
So if you're interested, let us know. We can instant message you. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Yager Training, and we have fresh content up weekly. And we would love to build that up, because we want to hear from you as well. Like, what are you struggling with? What is your biggest challenge? What are you interested in? Like, what if you could literally create anything that you wanted in 2020, what would it be? And like, what do you need in order for you to create that for yourself? And let us know, because we would love to either bring people in that can help you with that or deliver the content ourselves.
Yep.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
We will see you on Wednesday.
Happy Monday.
Oh, wait. Wednesday's New Year's.
It's all right.
That's okay. We'll see. We're going to do goals. We're doing goals all day on Wednesday, dropping them in our timeline. So it'll be perfect.
It's a great day for goals.
Yes, it is.
Bringing in the new year strong.
That's right, baby. I love you.
Love
you. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like our content and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button below. We'll be posting videos every single week.
And if you want to learn more about NLP or a certification program or even performance coaching, come join us on our website at yagertraining.com, and you can find the link in the description below. We hope to see you on the next video. Thank you.